Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. I have an audio only review today and interview, and I'm so pleased to be able to have from the Nashville area a TV host, recording artist. Matter of fact, she's not only a recording artist, she is an award-winning recording artist and a Hall of Fame recording artist that does great work for the military. And I'm going to have her tell us a little bit about more what she does. Rebecca Lawless. Rebecca, we are so glad to have you on our show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Andy. I appreciate your time very much. And I'm just glad to be here for a little while.
Well, tell us what you do and what what has got you to where you're a TV host and what you're doing today. There was a lot of life changes that happened to you.
Yes. Well, I will just share briefly. I'll try to keep it so that I don't take the 9 mile trail. But back in 2019, my husband and I were touring musicians up until September of 2019. He passed away in his sleep. So we had the biggest season coming up in 2020 for touring. We were excited. We were up for multiple awards with the Josie Music Awards in that same month that he passed away. And so it was just a little, that was not planned, obviously, and not that it ever is, but that was a curveball. And then, as we all know, COVID came to town just 5 short months later in my life from losing my husband. And so it took me quite some time. I sat for quite some time just trying to figure out how I was going to move forward, what I was going to do to try to stay afloat financially, to be honest. And the light went on. Again, I'm going to try to share the condensed version here to do something of value for our military and our veterans. And so I turned my house, my main house living room, into a small studio space that I was able to bring in a cameraman. We actually started with my phone. And so it was a very hokey, and I'm proud of that, uh, live stream on Facebook when we first started doing that. And then it gravitated to bringing in my cameraman that I currently use, and very grateful for his service. And so did that for probably about 10 months. And then another change happened where a theater space not far from my house became available to me to be able to do this, so that not only could we film the show, but we could also have live studio audience, because I kept getting asked, can I come? Can I come? And, I love people. However, it was in my home and I still needed to keep it kind of, separate. So I wasn't able to have the live studio audience at that time. So when the theater came about, it was just such a sweet, beautiful thing. And the Lord just went, let's do that. And so back in January of, well, this year, golly, it's already 2021. There was a new television network that had come to town here in Nashville. And I was put in touch with them. The blessing of being put in touch with them has been amazing. And they decided that they wanted to put my show on that network. And it's Nashville Country Television Network. And it's going to be rolling out. Actually, tomorrow night is the kickoff, which is August 3rd of, I think that's the 3rd of this year. So it's so cool. We're going to be rolling out. The kickoff is going to be at Nashville Palace tomorrow evening, and it's open to the public. And so that's going to be wonderful. I don't know the exact date yet when my show will be available on Amazon, Roku, and Android TV, but it's supposed to be sometime this month. And it's the Rebecca May Lawless Show. And it's to honor our military and our veterans who don't get nearly enough praise and build up. And there's just so many suicides. That was what really, really made me think that something needed to be done. In my own little way, I was just like, we can't have this many suicides for people that have served for my freedom. So that was kind of how that all happened. And I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity that the Lord has dumped in my lap. So that's my life kind of in a short version. And it's very busy. I'm very blessed. I've had some wonderful guests like Barbara Fairchild, Lulu Roman, Ronnie McDowell, Leona Williams, and just a whole host of independent artists that are wonderful. And just expect for more and more folks to come on. So we're having a good time. And it's at, for those in the local area to Nashville, it's at Starstruck Farm in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is Reba McEntire's former barn. And they've turned the indoor arena into a theater, which is just awesome for me because I'm a former horse owner. So I feel just at home doing it in the barn. So,
Yes. And I've seen some pictures of that on Facebook, and it looks like you're having some exciting times there. And it's
yes,
great to be able to get audiences out again in a live performance, isn't it?
that, yes, that is for sure. I think that's what's making people have so much fun is that we all get to hang out again. And it's a known fact that humans need to be with each other. I mean, we're kind of a herd animal. So to be stuck in a house where you don't have anything to do and you don't have anyone to talk to, it becomes just a little challenging. That was the other thing that forced me to do this was because I didn't need to be sitting in my house with my husband gone and COVID and feeling sorry for myself. I was like, no, 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 we're not going down that road. So it's definitely made me really realize that humans are definitely herd creatures.
Absolutely. And, as a nurse, and I was sharing with Rebecca before she went on that I've been a nurse for 29 years, and my background is a psychiatric nurse. And as a psychiatric nurse, and working in suicide hotline and working in inpatient units, I have seen people at their very worst and were desperate and in need. And unfortunately, that happens a lot with our military and our former military, that those tragic, traumatic experiences that happened catch up with them in the diagnosis and treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's
Right.
so nice to be able to have somebody to reach out to this population that sometimes is put aside, and we don't think
Yeah,
of them too much. And it's so nice to be able to appreciate and honor those who've done so much for our country.
that's right. That's right. I was speaking to a gentleman this morning who was the last person out of the Pentagon on 9/11. And he is suffering from some health issues because of all the asbestos and the lead paint and the jet fuel and everything when the plane went into the Pentagon. And I was speaking to him this morning, and it was very disturbing. And I don't know, he's hopefully going to come and speak on my show in between my musical guests, which is usually what I try to do, have a veteran or somebody that can speak to the veterans in between two musical guests, because it's a 90-minute show. And he said something to me that I had no idea of. And I hope that he can come speak to the civilians. It's the civilians that really need to hear this, that the serving military is barely able to make their ends meet because of the pay. They're out there fighting for my freedom and they're barely able to get by. And I'm thinking, well, that's just not right at all. And then they have to go, then they have to go apply for food stamps. And then they have to go every 3 years if they're moving. They have to, which a lot of them do, they have to go and buy another house every 3 years. And by the end of the 3 years, they don't have that much equity in the house. So when they sell, they may end up coming up short. And then by now, it could possibly be a seller's market, which is going to make it harder for the military person to actually purchase a house. And I think that that is just not, that is not okay. And so that's a whole nother thing that I just learned today that is just makes me realize that the civilians really need to be aware. And if we can do fundraisers, if we can have people donating to something like that, take care of our veterans, we need to be stepping up. Even if we're having a hard time buying a jar of peanut butter, maybe that $5, we could split it between the jar of peanut butter and the rest could go into the kitty for the veteran.
Yeah.
And so it's just yikes. It just really, really floored me when he said that this morning.
There certainly is a need for awareness, and I really do appreciate the work that you're doing for bringing this this to light and form of a TV program, and also the entertainment and encouragement you do in your show. I really do. It's a great timing for this. And Rebecca, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put down below in the comment section on Facebook the contact information, how could they get a hold of you, how they could listen maybe online, even if they can't go and to see your live tapings in Nashville. Maybe they can find it online. The resources and the different avenues of the different TV programs are going to be more and more available in the internet as the more you reach out, and so that they can keep an eye on what you're doing. But more important than that, I always ask my guest to remember my guest in prayer. And
Thank you.
when you think of Rebecca Lawless, pray that God would continue to in the midst of her need, she saw a need herself and started reaching out for a cause, and that God would continue to bless her and continue to make a way where there seems to be no way, so that she can continue this great work that she's doing. Rebecca,
Thank you.
thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it very much.
Okay. And I want to thank all of you for joining me for another Morning Moments, and keep coming back every morning for some more morning moments, and God richly bless you.